Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 505 based on novel. So let's start. The Ancient One head appeared behind Wang Lin. It wasn't blurry but almost corporeal. As it floated behind Wang Lin, it let out a heaven-shattering roar. This roar shook the surrounding area and it was as if Wang Lin was filled with endless might. Wang Lin reached the top of the pagoda and threw a punch. This punch caused the Ancient One head behind him to roar even more violently and space to distort. This roar fused with Wang Lin's punch, creating a powerful punch filled with ancient energy. The rumble became even more violent. In an instant, Wang Lin's punch touched the top of the pagoda. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the pagoda trembled. Wang Lin retreated a step and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. Then he let out a roar and threw the second punch. The popping sounds it created were heaven-shattering. As the popping sounds echoed, a few fine cracks appeared. A mere pagoda dares to seal me. Wang Lin let out a roar, formed a fist, and threw the third punch. The punch landed and the crack split even more. Soon, the crack spread across the entire pagoda and the entire pagoda collapsed. Countless fragments scattered in all directions. If one looked inside the clouds, they would see the pagoda collapsing and its fragments scattering like a storm. One would also see the golden light shine from within the collapsed pagoda. Wang Lin calmly walked out of the golden light with his hands behind his back. Although divine retribution was strong, Wang Lin didn't care. In his view, divine retribution couldn't punish him. Just as Wang Lin walked out, another muffled roar came from the rift above. Golden light shined and a third treasure flew out from the rift. This treasure was a golden ring. The moment it appeared, the golden light from the rift became even stronger and a pressure far more powerful than before appeared. This pressure spread out past the clouds. Outside, Sichu Nan and company felt this pressure, and their hearts trembled. They felt like they were facing the endless might of the heavens. Master South Cloud's expression changed and he subconsciously retreated over 1,000 feet. If he was like this, there was no need to talk about everyone else. The thousands of cultivators here, including Sichu Nan, quickly retreated. Some cultivators were too late on their retreat and were hit by the pressure. They coughed out large amounts of blood and their faces became pale. Their minds were hit by a powerful blow. What kind of treasure is this? Master South Cloud's eyes were filled with disbelief. With his cultivation level, he could tell that the pressure was not being given off by a cultivator but a treasure. The only person outside the clouds that wasn't suppressed by the pressure from the treasure was old Ghost John on the other side. His hair moved without any wind and his eyes revealed a strange light as he stared into the clouds. For the first time, his gaze moved off Wang Lin and onto the golden ring. Fate Sealing Ring. This is the thing he set up as the third treasure to become divine retribution in his memories. This treasure was even a bit famous on the immortal astral continent. Unfortunately, it became divine retribution, and unfortunately, my body, old Ghost John shook his head and sighed, but his eyes suddenly lit up. If Wang Lin can obtain this treasure, the chance of him being the third one will increase greatly. However, it is somewhat difficult to obtain it. Wang Lin also felt the pressure from the golden ring. His eyes lit up and he became interested for the first time. Just as Wang Lin looked over, the golden ring stopped and its pressure increased drastically. This caused the clouds to rumble violently, and the cultivators outside all rapidly retreated once more in shock. At the same time, the golden ring flew toward Wang Lin as it released this pressure. As it flew forward, the golden ring swelled up in a strange manner and instantly became thousands of feet wide. It moved at an unimaginable speed and wrapped around Wang Lin. After it was around Wang Lin, it rapidly shrank. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light. He didn't dodge or hide but waited for it to shrink. In a flash, the ring shrank from thousands of feet to only several feet, forming a small halo around Wang Lin's forehead. It tightened into his flesh like a circular seal. This circular seal clung to Wang Lin's skin. It tightened around his forehead and then an invisible ripple spread through his body. Then a similar ring appeared, sealing his origin soul. This was not the end. After sealing his origin soul, the ripple continued to penetrate through. It had no form to begin with, so it entered Wang Lin's soul and sealed it. This was the fate sealing ring. Wang Lin closed his eyes and his expression remained calm, as if the ring on his forehead didn't exist at all. However, within his closed eyes, there were flashes of deduction. He had taken fancy to this treasure, so he was using his mind to figure out its structure and find its weakness. The quickest way to do this was to experience it himself. He didn't dodge the divine retribution, he was allowing the divine retribution treasure to hit him so he could figure out a way to take it. Since ancient times, only Wang Lin could do something so calmly. He was already a bold person, and after experiencing countless life and death situations, he had seen far too much. Now that his eyes were closed, everything in the world became false and his mind processed at a terrifying speed. He combined his ancient god body, his cultivator body, his 5 essences, his more than 2,000 years of cultivation, and his wisdom as a grand scholar to create a terrifying computational force. In his mind, his body was gone and the only thing that remained was the golden ring, which was made up of billions of runes. The runes rapidly rotated, and because they rotated so fast, they looked solid. Every rune contained a unique aura, but when combined, they were extremely harmonious. They would seal a person's flesh and origin soul and then their soul, which was tantamount to sealing their life. This treasure's effect was very similar to the sealing power of the sealing extermination clan, but there were some differences. All of this happened in an instant, in just a flash. He saw through a lot. This treasure is a half-finished treasure. It was fused into the divine retribution by someone, and they are using the divine retribution to complete this treasure. The treasure is close to completion, maybe in another 10,000 years it will be complete. Interesting, I seem to understand divine retribution somewhat. Wang Lin smiled. However, just at this moment, the roar from the rift became even more clear, as if it was beside his ear. At the same time, a giant figure appeared from within the rift. It was thousands of feet tall and the aura of an ancient god spread out. The moment it stepped out of the rift, it revealed its whole body. It was an ancient god. This ancient god had 8 stars rotating rapidly between his eyebrows and wore a fierce experience. However, his eyes were hollow, making it seem as if he had lost his sanity. The ancient god's stars between his eyebrows were different from Wang Lin's. They were dim, as if they were sealed. The ancient god charged out of the rift and let out a heaven-shattering roar before charging at Wang Lin, who had his eyes closed. After the ancient god flew out, even more roars came from the rift. 3 10,000 feet ancient gods walked out. They had rough skin covered in countless scars, and they also charged at Wang Lin. Less than one breath after, monstrous devilish energy as thick as ink rushed out. The devilish energy formed 4 ancient devils who had 8 ancient devil stars. They revealed cruel and bloodthirsty grins as they rushed at Wang Lin. This didn't end here. After the 4 ancient devils, a monstrous demonic energy rushed out and dissipated the devilish energy. 4 8-star ancient demons appeared like smoke and had a terrifying appearance. Their sharp nails and green skin were shocking as the 4 ancient demons step out. 4 ancient gods, 4 ancient devils, 4 ancient demons. The 12 members of the Ancient Ones all roared and rushed at Wang Lin. It became closer and closer. Wang Lin still had his eyes closed and was still deducing the structures and flaws of the golden ring above. As billions of runes flashed through his mind, every time he understood one, the golden light from the ring would dissipate a bit. In this short period of time, more than 30% of the runes among the 1 billion runes had been taken control of by Wang Lin. As a result, the golden ring wasn't shining as brightly as before. Wang Lin didn't seem to realize that 12 ancient killing intents were closing in on him. The first to appear was an ancient god. The ancient god had a giant scar on his chest. It was as if had someone cut open his chest in ancient times. An 8-star ancient god, even if he wasn't of the royal bloodline, was already extremely powerful. To leave such a terrifying mark just showed how powerful these people were. Roar? The ancient god was less than 1,000 feet from Wang Lin. This was a long distance, but compared to an ancient god's body, which was tens of thousands of feet tall, it was within punching distance. A rumble echoed as the 8-star ancient god punched Wang Lin. An extremely powerful storm spread and stirred up the clouds. A giant shadow appeared before the ancient god. This shadow was also an ancient god, but he was wearing a set of armor. An endless slaughter aura came from the shadow, and on the forehead of this shadow, there were actually 9 stars. Wang Lin was originally an ancient god, and a royal ancient god at that, so he understood that the shadow that appeared behind the ancient god represented someone they respected, or it was an inherited title. The shadow was a symbol of the ancient god's identity and his origin. The 8-star ancient god was obviously loyal to the 9-star ancient god wearing armor. Although Wang Lin's eyes were closed, he could clearly feel everything. As the 8-star ancient god's punch flew forward, the world trembled. When the punch was less than 100 feet from Wang Lin, he still didn't open his eyes. Instead, he took a step forward and raised the palm of his right hand to collide with the ancient god's punch. With his palm blocking, Wang Lin's body didn't budge and he pushed the ancient god to the side. The ancient god's hollow eyes were filled with disbelief when his full punch was gently pushed to the side by Wang Lin. After pushing aside the ancient god's punch, Wang Lin's palm gently patted the head of this ancient god. There was a thunderous bang and the ancient god coughed out a mouthful of blood before retreating 100,000 feet. At the same time, the other 4 ancient gods closed in from different directions with 3 different punches. The full power punches of 3 8-star ancient gods was terrifying. At this moment, the 7 stars between Wang Lin's eyebrows started rotating rapidly. His 7-star royal ancient god power surged. Time seemed to slow down at this moment. Wang Lin still had his eyes closed, and he calmly took half a step forward. His right hand gently patted one ancient god's fists, knocking him to the side. His palm then hit the ancient god's chest. The ancient god trembled and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth before he was knocked back 100,000 feet. Wang Lin turned around and his arms extended out, grabbing the punches of the other 2 ancient gods. Although he had only grabbed a small portion of their fists, it was like he had grabbed onto their souls. He then suddenly pushed them back. A shocking rumble echoed. The 2 ancient gods coughed out blood and were thrown far away. All of this happened in an instant. Wang Lin had forced 4 ancient gods to retreat. Half of the golden light from the golden ring had dissipated and was still rapidly disappearing. Once all the light was gone, Wang Lin would have full control of this ring. Although the ancient gods were pushed back to 100,000 feet away, RGW-4 ancient devils were charging at Wang Lin. They had cruel and bloodthirsty expression, and many ancient devil spells rushed at Wang Lin. These spells were incomprehensible. They turned into ancient spells or mournful ghosts that surrounded the 4 ancient devils before rushing at Wang Lin. A giant, black war axe appeared. It was an ancient devil treasure. One of the devils grabbed the axe and chopped down at Wang Lin, causing his expression to become cold. The ancient gods were from the same clan, so he had held back a bit. Ancient devils were the same race but not the same clan. As the axe chopped down, Wang Lin's body flashed and his right palm pressed against the blade of the axe. The ancient devil trembled and the axe collapsed into endless devilish energy. The devilish energy shot toward Wang Lin's closed right eye. In a flash, it was all absorbed by his right eye. At the same time as he absorbed the devilish energy, Wang Lin stepped forward and arrived before an ancient devil. His right hand pressed against its chest and then he clenched before pulling back. A miserable scream echoed and the 8-star ancient devil exploded. Dense, black gas was pulled out by Wang Lin, and he pressed it into his right eye. This didn't cause the other 3 ancient devils to retreat, they seemed to have lost their sanity. They were filled with cruelty and bloodthirst as they desperately rushed at Wang Lin. One of the ancient devils was already behind Wang Lin and wanted to devour him. At the same time, the other 2 ancient devils arrived on the right and left of Wang Lin. Ancient devil spells appeared and shot toward him. Even the 4 ancient demons closed in. Wang Lin's expression remained calm and his eyes were still closed. The golden ring on his forehead was almost completely dim, with only a small sliver still struggling to shine. As the ancient devil tried to devour him, Wang Lin didn't dodge. Instead, he slammed his back into the ancient devil. There was a thunderous rumble and the ancient devil let out a miserable scream, then a storm of devilish energy appeared and its body exploded. Wang Lin didn't pause. He walked out of the storm and raised his left hand at another ancient devil. The karma print appeared once more. While he absorbed the ancient devil energy, Wang Lin calmly moved toward the last ancient devil. The countless ancient devil spells shot toward Wang Lin, but they all went through him. The ancient devil was shocked from disbelief as Wang Lin's palm pressed on its chest. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the ancient devil turned into gas. Before it could dissipate, it was absorbed by Wang Lin's palm. All of this didn't cause the 4 ancient demons to pause for even a moment. They surrounded him and closed in with a unified scream. Wang Lin didn't move his body, but his right hand pressed on his closed right eye. The last hint of golden light from the golden ring dissipated. Now the golden ring on his head didn't have a single speck of light inside. Wang Lin's eyes opened. Outside the million kilometers of clouds, old Ghost John became excited. He stared at Wang Lin inside the fog and his eyes became even brighter. In such a short period of time, he actually managed to obtain that treasure. The chance of him being the third one is not 30% but 50%. I have searched the inner cave for countless years, and Seven Color has looked in the outer cave for countless years. We never found the third one and didn't know where the third one went. If I can find it first, old Ghost John's eyes shined brightly and he clenched his fist. As for Wang Lin, when he opened his eyes, the drop of blood that was his celestial immortal body appeared and moved through the ring once. After it cycled once, the golden ring shined even more brightly. However, this time the golden light belonged to Wang Lin. You all looking for death? Wang Lin's white hair moved without wind, and a golden ring lit up his snow-white hair. The moment he spoke, a monstrous killing intent spread from his body. Under this slaughter aura, Wang Lin raised his right hand and pointed above. A giant, golden palm print appeared. War Spirit print. This was the first time Wang Lin had used it since he awakened from his dream Dao, and it was several times more powerful than before. Space itself trembled when the palm print appeared. The palm print that seemed to cover the entire area descended with endless pressure. The 4 ancient demons trembled and let out miserable screams as the palm print penetrated their bodies. They all collapsed. Strands of demonic energy gathered in Wang Lin's left eye and were absorbed. There are also 4 of you. As members of my ancient god clan, you're supposed to die on the battlefield, but your sanity was removed and you became puppets. I'm your king, and I feel your sadness. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with sorrow. As the ancient gods rushed at him, he pointed at them. The war spirit print that had destroyed 4 ancient demons turned and shot toward the 4 ancient gods. Wang Lin closed his eyes as if he wasn't willing to look. The moment he closed his eyes, a thunderous rumble echoed. The 4 ancient gods all disappeared. Before they died, they seemed to reveal a face of relief. Divine retribution should be over. Wang Lin raised his head and opened his eyes. He looked at the rift and made his way toward it step by step. When he stepped into the rift and saw what was inside, his pupils shrank. He saw the world he saw in the past inside. It was an endless world with a dim sky above countless giant statues. These statues were ancient gods, ancient devils, and ancient demons. A sense of true celestial energy filled this area. Although it was not strong, it was obviously different from the celestial energy outside the rift. This was the aura of the immortal astral continent. Below Wang Lin, a young man stood on an ancient demon statue. The young man had white hair, white robes, and a cold gaze. His hands were behind his back as he looked up at the sky. Wang Lin's pupils shrank the moment he saw the young man. Whether it was appearance, expression, aura, and everything else, he was the same as him. There was no way to tell them apart. Wang Lin's eyes returned to normal and he slowly said, "Who are you?" "I'm you." The white-haired young man revealed an elusive smile as he looked at Wang Lin. No need to pretend to be mysterious. Wang Lin let out a snort and moved like a meteor. He ignored the white-haired young man and moved through this vast and strange continent. However, after he moved less than 1,000 feet, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he stopped. He looked ahead and then waved his hand forward. With this wave, ripples appeared before Wang Lin, revealing a water-like barrier. This barrier contained powerful celestial energy. It dissipated Wang Lin's attack and created a rebound force. Invisible ripples rushed into Wang Lin's body from all directions. "You can't get in." The strange, white-haired young man was inside the water barrier. He shook his head. "You want to know what divine retribution is? You want to know the origin of divine retribution? Beat me and you will know everything. Don't be surprised that I know what you're thinking, because I'm you." The white-haired young man stepped forward and his white hair fluttered. He gave off a very graceful temperament. The white-haired young man smiled and softly said, "Throughout the ages, you're not the first heaven-defying cultivator to reach the third step, but none of them survived this divine retribution. I'm looking forward to seeing if you can do it." While they spoke, the white-haired young man stepped out from the water barrier. He raised his right hand and pointed at Wang Lin. "Do you dare or not?" There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. He charged forward without wasting time or speaking nonsense. He raised his right palm and closed in on the white-haired young man. Self-divine retribution. A bit interesting. The white-haired young man remained calm and also stepped forward Wang Lin, raising his right palm as well. This scene was extremely strange, and if an outsider saw this, they would be shocked. Two people that looked exactly the same, whether it was their appearance or clothes, were using the same spells. They moved like two meteors and moved closer together in this vast continent. In an instant, the two closed in on each other. There was a flash of killing intent in Wang Lin's eyes as his right palm collided with the young man in white's right palm. A thunderous rumble echoed across the continent, making it seem as if the entire world was going to shatter. This deafening roar echoed and lingered for a long time. As the sound echoed, Wang Lin and the white-haired young man did the same thing. The moment their palms touched, their fingers curled at the same time. Another rumble echoed and a powerful storm erupted between them. The storm caused their same white hair and white robes to flutter. At this moment, even their gazes were the same, gloomy with a hint of killing intent. It was as if they were both trying to form a fist and extract the other's essence. All of this happened in an instant. They both formed a fist and pulled backward. The white-haired young man immediately coughed out blood and his body was knocked back, with blood flying out of his orifices. The fire tattoo appeared in his left eye, thunder appeared in his right, and even his karma, life and death, and true and false essences flew out like gas from his orifices. They turned into a mass of chaos and were held in Wang Lin's hand. Looking at Wang Lin, he also coughed out blood and his expression and essences ended up the same as the white-haired young man's. The white-haired young man also held Wang Lin's essences. Both of them retreated 1,000 feet. There was no difference at all. While they retreated, they even had the same thought. They both used the essences they had extracted from the other using the karma print to make up for the loss in essences. There is no need to verify, your thoughts are my thoughts. Your spells are my spells. I am you. You want to test me with your spells. This may work against others, but it is useless against me. The white-haired young man gave Wang Lin a strange smile and wiped away the blood from the corner of his mouth. If you still don't believe me, I'll help you believe it. As he spoke, he charged toward Wang Lin. His left hand rose into the air and white gas surrounded it. His right hand rose up and black gas like ink surrounded it. The white-haired young man closed in on Wang Lin and pressed his hands down. Life and death seal. An extremely powerful life and death aura erupted from the white-haired young man's body. His left hand contained life as well as the heavens and earth themselves. His right hand contained death as if it controlled the fate of everything. As he closed in, his left hand closed in on Wang Lin and the white gas flew toward Wang Lin. This white gas was life force, which normally couldn't do any harm. However, Wang Lin knew that it was part of the life and death seal. Once it entered his body, death would soon arrive to complete the seal. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy. He let out a cold snort and raised his left hand. It was filled with life force that turned into a mist. His left hand penetrated the mist and collided with the white-haired young man's left hand. Both of their bodies trembled with a bang and both had life force enter their bodies, disrupting the flow within them. Both coughed out blood but didn't retreat it. Instead, they each raised their right hands and collided once more. A thunderous rumble echoed before both of them were knocked back and coughed out blood. However, as they retreated, they both roared at the same time. Life and death seal! Life and death seal! As thunderous rumbles echoed, Wang Lin landed on the ground and was forced back step by step. Every step he took caused the earth to tremble, and he retreated more than 100 steps before he stopped with a pale face. His body was a complete mess as the life and death seal erupted. If not for the fact that he had comprehended life and death, he would have been seriously injured. The white-haired young man also retreated, and his body hit the water barrier. He went through it and arrived above an ancient demon statue. Countless cracks immediately spread across the entire statue, starting from the spot where the white-haired young man landed. The statue collapsed and dissipated the force. Blood flowed out from the white-haired young man's mouth, but he still had that strange smile. What about it? Karma print, life and death seal, and all the spells you know, I know. How can you kill me? What are you going to kill me with? The white-haired young man's smile became bigger and bigger until he began to laugh. The two were separated by the water barrier. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy as he stared at the white-haired young man inside the barrier. He closed his eyes. The moment he closed his eyes, the expression of the white-haired young man changed and he also immediately closed his eyes. Both of them closed their eyes and the true and false Tao appeared. When the eyes were closed, everything was false. With a thought, true and false would change in the blink of an eye. They had closed their eyes at the same time. It was as if everything in this world had become an illusion, as if it didn't exist. This wasn't because the world was actually an illusion but because they both had seen through its essence. In an instant, Wang Lin opened his eyes, and at the same time, the white-haired young man's eyes opened as well. There was a flash of coldness in both their eyes. When the eyes were open, everything would be true again. At the moment of changing from false to true, one could see through everything. The instant after they opened their eyes, they both closed their eyes again. The moment they closed their eyes, Wang Lin waved his right hand. With the true and false Tao, everything can be false as long as my heart wills it. Dust to dust, earth to earth, everything disappears. The white-haired young man also waved his right hand and saw the same thing. Both used the true and false Tao to dissipate everything. If only one person had used this, the spell would be extremely powerful, but now that both of them had done the same, they both trembled. Both coughed out a large amount of blood and were knocked back. However, after only retreating 3 steps, Wang Lin stopped and reversed the force in his body. He charged at the white-haired young man. The white-haired young man's movement was the same as Wang Lin's, and he also rushed over. The two got closer and closer and arrived at the center of the area outside the barrier. They both raised their right hands, both pointed at each other, and both shouted the same 2 words. Stop spell! Stop spell! After Wang Lin spoke and as his finger and the white-haired young man's finger pointed at each other, both of them trembled. The stop spell not only stopped the body, the origin soul and everything else would be stopped as well, including the flow of time. At this moment, both Wang Lin and the white-haired young man were completely frozen in place. Under the stop spell's effect, both of them stopped moving and fell from the sky. While they fell, Wang Lin was deducing in his mind. It should be like this. Everything Wang Lin had done from the moment their karma prints collided had an ulterior motive, but he had no time to think. If he had tried to analyze it, the enemy would likely have noticed it. This video will end here.